Hey, this is Vic Ferrari. I'm in the garage. Got a little test today, and I know this has been done before, but I want to go ahead and run it, see what results I get. So I've got the 125 amp welder from Harbor Freight, and it's running 35 wire flux core. And then I've got over here my Century welder, which is also 115 or 120 volt, whatever you want to call it, 110 volt. And it is also running 35 wire. So theoretically, they should be the same. This Century welder is a 1990, and I've been welding with it for just under 30 years. And this one here is brand new, January 31st or so of 2019. So let's jump on this and see how they weld. So if my camera person would go over there so she doesn't go up in flames.
I don't want to go up in flames, do I?
And we're going to start off actually with the Century, because I'm used to that one. Put the speed just above halfway. And one of the things I probably should have done is ran a quick test to get my speed right on that one. But this is 3/8 inch steel plates butted together. We're going to see how they do. I'm going to weld half the top, and then I'll weld half with that one. Okay, got that half done. And unplug. Plug in the Chicago electric. Flip it on. Flip the power on max. The speed is on 6. We'll see if that's a good speed. And we'll give it another burn here. Definitely an odd handle, I'm not used to holding it. And that is too slow of a speed, I think. Now I can't get any fire. Bad start. I don't know if that's welder or not. Try and hook the ground again. Oh, okay. So the old time Century welder, you just had to touch it and it fed when you pulled the trigger, but it fired when you touched it. This one you actually have to pull the trigger and it'll feed at the same time, but it won't fire if you just touch. So that's kind of a nice feature. Not used to it, so that caught me off guard. Okay, so if you want to come on down here, I can tell, I'm just going to get a brush. I can tell that it doesn't weld the same, that's for sure. The duty cycles and the hertz is definitely different. Let's come on down. Okay, so get on down here. You can see here the Chicago Electric did not have enough power to burn into the 3/8. It's set on high power, and the Century easily burned in and went flat Gave a nice roll of nickels where the other one just kind of piled because it was too cold. It wasn't hot enough. So I'm going to try to make one more pass here, change my speed, see what happens. Maybe with a little practice or something it'd be better, but I'm going to slow the feed down to let it really get hot. See what I can do. That is just not working. So I'm going to literally crank the speed and see what that does just for grins. Okay, so let me run a bead. Go ahead and look at that one. It's not a very good bead. It's really too cold. It's not melting the metal. And I'm going to give her another try with my Century just to see what it does here. So fire it up one more time and we'll burn it with a Century.
Let's burn this kid.
You can hear the pulsing is way different. Century's burning in really well. Yeah, the Century is easily burning into the metal. And again, if you want to come down and look, got a nice, more of a roll of nickels look to it compared to the high ball of the Century up here. You can see up here how the Century goes. Get both of them in the camera, this and this. You can see how the Century, or the Chicago pneumatic just piles up, doesn't burn in, and the Century actually settles down in the steel and burns down in. So I would say Chicago Electric Harbor Freight's probably not that bad of a welder. I don't recommend using the wire at all from Harbor Freight. It's really garbage. Even in my Century, it's no good. So that could be part of the problem, but I would say if my camera person quit falling on the ground.
I'm sorry.
Are you filming my shoes?
No.
Or are you gonna film me? Hi, we're back.
Sorry.
So, Chicago Electric, in my opinion, from Harbor Freight, if you're doing some really thin stuff, it's probably a good welder. It'll get you by. Use Home Depot wire. It's going to be better. But as far as overall, it's not good enough to weld any kind of heavy gauge. I wouldn't go over 1/8 inch steel with it. So, but if you can find an old Century or Lincoln, they are awesome welders. You can easily weld 3/8 all day long. And that's my review live. Have a great day. Like, subscribe.
Follow
Vic
us.
Ferrari out.